Hey everyone, welcome to the open question. Someone knocks at your door. They're polite, neatly dressed, and holding a magazine about the Bible. They don't ask for money. They don't sell anything. They ask about your beliefs, your future, what you think happens when you die. For many people, these visits feel awkward or unnecessary, but to them, it's sacred work. They believe they're saving lives. They believe time is running out. They are Jehovah's Witnesses, and for over a century they've been preparing for the world to end. They believe the end is near. They've believed that for decades. According to their teachings, after a final battle called Armageddon, the world will be cleansed. Only the faithful will survive, living in a paradise ruled by their version of God. But there's a catch. Their version of faith comes with strict rules, deep isolation, and heavy consequences for stepping out of line. They don't celebrate birthdays. They avoid holidays. They won't vote, salute a flag, or serve in the military. They won't accept blood transfusions, even in medical emergencies. They believe only their organization has the truth. Everyone else is part of a corrupt world, destined for destruction. That belief changes how they live, how they think, and how they treat people outside the group. Most religions have strange customs. Some don't eat certain foods. Others fast, pray multiple times a day, or wear specific clothes. But Jehovah's Witnesses are different in how far the control goes. It's not just about religious ritual. It touches every part of a person's life. How they spend their time, who they talk to, even what they think. The leadership of the group is concentrated in the hands of a small body of men. They are called the governing body, and they claim to speak for God directly. Their interpretations of Scripture are not suggestions. They are presented as absolute truth. Challenging their teachings is seen as a sign of disloyalty. Following your own conscience or asking critical questions is discouraged. Questioning leadership is seen as questioning God. People in the group are discouraged from reading outside material, especially anything that critiques the organization. Independent thought is framed as dangerous. Higher education is viewed with suspicion. Members are told that thinking too much can lead them away from the truth. Doubt isn't something to explore. It's something to shut down quickly. This mindset doesn't just affect individuals, it shapes entire families. Children are raised inside the system from a young age. They're taught that the world outside is full of lies and evil. Friendships with outsiders are discouraged. Every conversation becomes filtered through the fear of spiritual contamination. Even small acts of curiosity, like reading a novel that questions faith, can lead to consequences. And those consequences are severe. If someone breaks the rules or decides to leave the group, they risk being disfellowshipped. This is more than just being told to leave. It means total shunning. Friends and family are instructed to cut all contact. Parents stop talking to children. Siblings refuse to return phone calls. A person can lose their entire support system overnight. This approach doesn't just create loneliness. It creates pressure. People stay silent because they're afraid. They continue to go to meetings, repeat the teachings, and suppress their doubts. Not because they believe, but because they don't want to lose everything. It's emotional blackmail. Love becomes conditional. Acceptance depends on obedience. In some cases, the consequences go beyond emotional damage. The group's strict refusal to accept blood transfusions has led to medical tragedies. People have died because they followed the rule, even when doctors could have saved them. Some try to find loopholes. Others hope for new medical alternatives. But the underlying pressure remains. Obey, even if it means risking your life. Behind the scenes, there's another issue that has drawn public attention: how the organization handles child abuse. The policies are rigid. To act on a report, they often require 2 witnesses to the event. In abuse cases, that's nearly impossible. As a result, victims are often silenced, and abusers remain protected. Many cases go unreported to law enforcement. The organization claims to handle things internally, but abuse isn't a spiritual issue. It's a crime, and crimes need legal consequences, not quiet meetings behind closed doors. These problems aren't theoretical. They're documented. In 2015, the Australian Royal Commission investigated how Jehovah's Witnesses responded to child abuse. Over 1,000 alleged abusers had been identified within the group. Not one had been reported to the police. The commission found serious failures in how the organization protected its members, especially its children. Despite these issues, the group continues to grow. They report over 8 million members worldwide. But those numbers don't reflect the full story. Many join, but many leave too. And leaving comes with emotional scars. Former members talk about intense anxiety, nightmares, and guilt long after they walk away. Years of conditioning don't disappear overnight. Some carry a deep fear of being destroyed at Armageddon. Others struggle to build a life in a world they were told to fear. They weren't just leaving a religion, they were leaving an entire identity. And rebuilding that takes time. Many people who exit these systems describe it as waking up from something they didn't realize they were trapped in. There's grief, there's anger, but there's also clarity. The group avoids the label of cult. They see themselves as the only true Christians. But many experts in sociology and psychology notice patterns that are hard to ignore. A tight control over information. Heavy emphasis on obedience. Social punishment for disagreement. Isolation from outsiders. These traits are common in high-control groups. The teachings themselves have shifted over time. They've predicted the end of the world multiple times. 1914, 1925, 1975. Each time, the prophecy failed. Each time, they revised the narrative. Followers were told the interpretation was misunderstood, not the prophecy itself. And each time, the faithful adjusted their expectations and stayed. It wasn't logic that kept them. It was fear of leaving. These patterns are not just about belief in God. They reveal how belief can be managed, shaped, and even weaponized. People join looking for answers, for comfort, for a sense of belonging. But once inside, they face a system that rewards silence and punishes doubt. Spirituality becomes a tool for enforcing loyalty. It's easy to view religious groups as harmless or even quaint. But when belief systems demand total obedience, discourage education, interfere with medical care, and tear families apart for asking questions, that's more than belief. That's control. Jehovah's Witnesses present themselves with calm voices and clean images. But underneath the surface lies a system that pushes people to abandon critical thought, suppress their instincts, and prioritize the organization above their own well-being. That's not just a set of religious customs. That's a system of influence that shapes minds, relationships, and futures. Not every member sees this clearly. Many are kind, well-meaning people who simply want to do what's right. But good intentions don't erase the damage. They don't make it okay to silence abuse victims, isolate doubters, or terrify people with visions of destruction. There's a difference between faith and control. There's a difference between guidance and manipulation. And once you recognize how those lines have been crossed, it becomes difficult to unsee them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.